Join us now to discuss real estate, energy, tariffs, the state of the consumer, and much more. Ray Washburne, Vice Chairman of Gillon Capital, Gillon Property Group, Chairman of Sunoco, member of Red Lobster's board. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here and on set. What's the Italian? No, it's Mexican, right?
Mexican. Mi Cocina.
How many of those you got?
27.
27 of those. Board or Red Lobster at this point? How did that come about?
Well, Red Lobster, as you know, went through bankruptcy after that $20 all-you-can-eat shrimp fiasco they had.
Yep.
So Fortress bought it, and Fortress asked me to go on the board. We do a lot of business with
You're on the board for that. Chairman of Sunoco.
That's right.
If we want to talk energy, you can explain what's happening.
Yeah, we're the largest seller of refined products in the United States, in the Americas now.
And then you started, initially, you bought the best mall in Dallas, didn't you?
No, in the United States.
In the United States. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Short Hills Mall. Wait a minute. Short Hills Mall is best in the United
That's a mall. We're open air.
Okay, you're open
Yeah.
air. But you bought that, and then you bought how many more at this point?
Well, we own Holland Park Village in Dallas, Country Club Plaza in Kansas City, which is over 15 city blocks, Phillips Place in Charlotte, North Carolina. We've got a block in downtown Aspen, and so we've got different things around the country.
Damn. You don't go anywhere it's not a great place, do you?
No, I like to stay active.
So let's talk. You've been active politically. Actually, you were actually is it in the Trump administration?
Yeah.
If you're
No, I was a Senate confirmed. I was a CEO of the Overseas Private Investment Corporation,
which merged with.
Well, now it's called the DFC. Development Finance, and it took part of USAID and part of the State Department.
Well, you can comment on all the cuts there.
I was the CEO when the Build Act went through, and so that was under my watch that all happened.
But you backed, I think you backed Romney, you backed Chris Christie.
I was Chris Christie's finance chairman in 2016.
Chairman.
Yeah, finance chairman.
Right now, you would say you're a big backer of President Trump.
Yes, I'm a very big backer of President Trump.
Okay, so what do you make of the backdrop being in all these businesses with tariffs and the big beautiful bill, Doge? How about give us a synopsis?
Sure. Well, it's had us to really rethink a lot of our businesses in a good way. And I'll give you an example. Red Lobster, we used to source all of our shrimp from China, for example. We're the largest buyer of shrimp in the world. We've now shifted all that production in a fairly short period of time to India, Vietnam, the Texas Gulf Coast. And so that had us rethink our supply chain. So in that sense, that was a good thing. In Sunoco, on the energy side, the only way we're affected really is on steel prices for pipes and stuff, because we have 15,000 stations in the Americas, and pretty much everything we have is produced here domestically.
What do you think of this latest? Were you surprised, U.S. Steel and Nippon, if that goes through?
No, I just saw that on your.
Who got the president? I think Dave McCormick.
Right.
Senator.
I want to go, though, on the shrimp side real quick.
Yeah, sure.
So you're moving stuff to, you said, India and Vietnam.
It's already moved.
Already moved.
Yeah. And the Texas Gulf Coast.
Tim Cook was planning to do that, and apparently that was not good enough. So do you think long-term you're going to be okay?
Well, we have to have the source. I mean, we don't have enough shrimp in the Texas Gulf Coast to feed all our restaurants.
Well, what's that done to your margins thus far, and what do you think it will do long-term?
Well, long-term, you've just got to squeeze margin out. You know, all of us have got parts of our business that 150% tariffs, obviously nothing works. You get down to 10% tariffs, you can find that in your businesses to squeeze out.
What if it's 20 to 30% overall?
You know, it's a challenge, for sure. It's a challenge. But, you know, the consumer at the end of the day isn't going to buy a, $50 shrimp plate. So, I mean, the business will figure it out. I think President Trump sees that, and as things slowly work their way through the system, he's going to understand what it takes to make the business work. Otherwise, we're not going to be selling much shrimp.
That means you just find another alternative?
No, I think it'll work itself out this summer. Okay. I think he's going to find compromise in a lot of ways. You know, the first thing he put out there was a big blanket deal. Now they're negotiating down the different parts of it.
Do you see an eventual payback to the near-term pain that we felt maybe with the tariffs? Do you think it resets global trade in a positive way for the United States? Are you a believer? In
a positive way? Yes, I think so. It brings something. We have to rethink a lot of the ways we do business, too. And I think the tariffs have forced that to a lot of us. For example, our restaurants, we source all of our to-go packaging, things people don't think about. Bags, plasticware, all those kind of things that you get are all from foreign places. And so those things have doubled, tripled, quadrupled in price. So we're having to find suppliers closer to onshoring. I think it's going to bring a lot of business. When I was running the Overseas Private Investment Corp, we finance a lot of companies in Central America, the Northern Triangle, Colombia, places like that. It's going to bring a lot much closer to the shores of the United States.
But you think we'll get it back here?
I think we'll get some of it back here. A lot of it is so labor intensive. It just, with our labor laws in this country, it's difficult to do anything that, for example, our shrimp, a lot of it's hand breaded. So you have a lot of people dipping.
Right.
And at minimum wages here, you just can't, it just doesn't work.
So interesting.
Yeah.
No, it's so interesting.
Hand breading shrimp. Yeah.
Right. No, but what do you do about that? I mean, do you think robots are ultimately going to be doing this for us?
Hand breading shrimp?
That's what I'm saying.
Sure someone will figure that out.
I don't know if Elon Musk is going to have his robots, doing the shrimp.
Right. Well, if they do, then we absolutely can bring it back here.
You're from Dallas, and I know you know Kyle Bass.
Yeah,
he's
Kyle's a good friend.
Good friend. China Hawk. You a China Hawk? We doing the right thing? How should we approach that? And should there be permanent high tariffs with China to decouple or to just?
Well, we're able to move, again, a lot of production, a lot of things away from China. It just takes
Should we
there
be
for
doing that?
Things are so cheap there.
We should be doing that.
Oh, absolutely. We should be doing that.
Because of their designs on global
dominance that the Chinese seem to have. But the other countries like India, you go throughout Africa. I mean, the one thing I learned running Overseas Private Investment Corporation was so many pockets of labor in other parts of the world that just been untapped. I mean, you go down to South America, to Brazil, Argentina, those countries. I mean, there's an incredible amount of labor.
Ray, how did you think? We're trying to figure out why the market has been so resilient. We had Jeremy Siegel on. And I was making the point that if we hadn't had this sort of hiccup with tariffs and all the word, that some of the stuff's good. Deregulation is probably positive. The Biden economy, if you did back out some of the inflation, and maybe it's pandemic related, maybe it was too much spending, but other than that, jobs market remained very strong. Wages were rising, except inflation rose too much. Are we going to go into a really positive economic cycle, do you think, if we get beyond?
Well, credit card debt, consumer debt is a big worry. I mean, it's at an all-time high.
This is what we want to hear. So that's something.
Yeah, credit card debt's an all-time. So in my three main businesses, call it retail, shopping centers, restaurants, and Sunoco, gasoline sales. What we're seeing across all three platforms, we'll start with gasoline. Gasoline right now, sales are soft compared to last year. Why? A number of things. One is refinery capacity is 92% right now in the second quarter, high 80s. Well, they're pushing so much gasoline onto the market. The consumer has slowed down their driving. So all of a sudden we have too much supply on the market. So is that good or bad? Well,
even with cheaper energy prices, gasoline hasn't been as cheap because refinery hasn't met the demand.
The refineries are continuing to pump it out because we haven't had a major disruption in the refinery. There haven't been a hurricane, big fire, explosion, something like that. So the refinery business is all out right now, okay? None have gone down for big maintenance. And so that's putting a lot of supply into the system. Okay, A. B, the consumer is out there. A lot of them are they're scared right now. There's a lot of kind of stagnation going on. So I think a lot of people.
What are they scared of? Tariffs?
Just the headline news, listening to you guys. I mean, watching, reading the newspaper every day that there are job losses and things going on. They're scared of their jobs. So they're driving less. EVs have come into about 4% of the market.
4%. And what do you think that goes to?
I don't know. The problem is a lot of people are kind of scared of EVs and like, I rent one or I get one. Am I going to be able to charge it? And so I don't know where.
If you have to drive farther than a couple hours, you don't.
The thing is, we're one of the largest sellers of diesel. American commerce runs on diesel. All our 18-wheelers run on diesel. There aren't electric diesel trucks.
So that's good for your business.
That's good for our business. So when you see distribution of goods around the country, that got to be fueled by diesel. So that's strong for us right now. But if that softens, that's when you see that stores are buying less stuff into Long Beach and need less trucks to truck it. So watching diesel sales is a real barometer of the economy. Right now, it's about equal to last year. Hadn't gone up, hadn't gone down. It's just about soft.